Have they pulled the video? No. You are kidding me. Do you see what I see?
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're on air, they have marked the video private.
Hey, chat, you guys say that you found it? You guys say that you found it on Apple Podcasts? What podcast am I looking up on Apple Podcasts? Do you guys see what's happening in the chat? Do you guys see what's happening in the chat right now? Everybody look in the chat. Those are all first-time Twitch chatters. We start playing it on Apple Podcasts, and then we start getting chat spammed by bots? Something is still going on in the chat right now, live on the stream. All from this, as he starts talking about Epstein and replacement theory, right? They may be trying to get my stream pulled for bots. They're trying to crash the server. That was some timing. I'm sure it's a coincidence.
Conspiracy theories are entering a dangerous...
Information is the oxygen of the democracy.
There's so much evidence out there that even if less than 1% is true, that would be enough to collapse the current paradigm and change the whole planet.
I almost didn't buy this NFL wallet.
This is a bit of a different video, but I think that it is probably some pretty significant evidence in the Charlie Kirk case, and it's super interesting. So I want to just explain what it is real quick and why it's coming out in this format. Pastor Rob McCoy has become a very suspicious figure in this case, and Candace has been digging a lot into him and his background, but so have a lot of other people. And Baron Coleman, who has been made famous for finding the Google search trend stuff, he started watching a whole bunch of Pastor Rob's sermons and realized that some really weird stuff got said. And he stumbled across one sermon in particular that was very interesting. And he went to stream it, and you'll see what happens. And based on what happened, it getting taken down midstream, it seems significant. And so then when I went to go listen to it on Apple Podcasts, what happened to my stream seems even like to add to the significance. And so although it's a weird format because it's a lot of it is listening to the audio of this podcast as we go, I felt like I wanted to give you the whole, like as much of the whole thing as possible, because I think that what's in this podcast is probably pretty important to listen to. And I actually spoke to Baron about what he noticed about it. Why was he going to comment on the video? And actually there was stuff about the video and about his mannerisms, Rob McCoy's mannerisms, that we don't get in this one, that he said was even more weird. But for that reason, I've clipped out like gaps and breaks and kind of squished it down so it's not a 3-hour long live stream. You can go and see that on my Twitch account. That's still up live, and it's fascinating. But I've clipped it all down to hopefully the most interesting parts. And he says some very blasphemous stuff as far as I can read it about the Bible and about Christianity. And it's just wild. So it's a weird format, but watch the chat, listen carefully to what he says. I was so confused that I didn't even pick up on some of the stuff. And in watching it back, there's a bunch more in it that I didn't even notice in the first watch through. So make it what you will. It won't be the video for everyone, but I thought it was a pretty important piece of evidence to just put out for everyone to see what happened so that y'all can judge for yourself and do with it what you will. So without further ado, here's what happened on my live stream today when I tried to listen to Rob McCoy's missing podcast. Breaking moments ago, Rob McCoy removes YouTube video evidence while Baron Coleman was live analyzing it on his stream. Real Baron Pod had set up this McCoy sermon as the single most damning thing that exists today when it comes to Charlie Kirk and what happened to him. Moments later, the video is taken down. You have to see this. Is this some kind of admission?
Everything Rob McCoy says today is conditioned in many ways on Charlie Kirk not changing his mind from what Rob McCoy says it is. Now today, Rob McCoy's pastor suit is featuring what looks like Navy garb. Looks like a Navy getup. Looks like he's on a sailor boat. Rob the Sailor Man. Now let me get to this real quick because I think this is an absolutely critical moment in the
is it going to happen before he does it?
To neutralize Charlie Kirk. I just want to set this up because I have put so much research into the Calvary Chapel phenomenon and Rob McCoy's role in it, and it is wild. It is wild.
Other things, and you saw...
Have they pulled the video? No. You are kidding me. Do you see what I see?
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're on air, They have marked the video private.
And so if you don't know, it's like it's a bit of a process. You have to get into your YouTube studio. You have to go locate the video. You have to go into the menus and drop it down and hit the mark private. Takes a second. And if Rob is watching and he's like, oh, I remember what I said. Oh, okay, fucking go, yo, close this shit. Shut it down. Shut it down. Damn. Baron
The
Coleman.
guilty fleeth when no one pursueth.
Bringing the heat.
You are kidding me. The guilty fleeth when no one pursueth. This is, without a doubt, the largest admission that I've come across yet in the Charlie Kirk mystery. I cannot believe what we just watched live. And if they think this is going to make them look good, they're out of their mind. This is absolute insanity.
Hey, chat, you guys say that you found it? You guys say that you found it on Apple Podcasts? What podcast am I looking up on Apple Podcasts?
And I tell you what, Rob McCoy's pastor suit.
Has God cast away his people? Pastor Rob McCoy.
Is featuring what looks like Navy garb. Looks like a Navy getup. Looks like he's on a sailor boat. Rob the Sailor Man. Now let me get to this real quick because I think this is an absolutely critical moment in the decision.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. I'm the visiting pastor.
Do you guys see what's happening in the chat? Do you guys see what's happening in the chat right now?
I used to joke that I became a minister because I hate.
Everybody look in the chat. Those are all first-time Twitch chatters getting chat spammed.
Are your finances taking up?
Interesting. We start playing it on Apple Podcasts and then we start getting chat spammed by bots? Interesting. Let's look at, let's pull up the chat so we can all see the chat. Interesting. I've never seen that before. And on Twitch, you guys can't see it in this chat right here, but every single one of them had the box around them saying first time chat. Because those were all first time chatters that just jumped in. Interesting. The guilty fleeth. Or is it a raid? Raid from Kai community? Is that what it is? I don't think it's a raid. Kai Sanat viewers are not first-time Twitch chatters. No, they are not. And my viewers have not gone up. My viewers are still at 570 from what I'm seeing. So that's a little interesting. We have more on-stream evidence of weird, shady shit. Let me refresh this page and see if my viewers have spiked or something. Nope, my viewers have not spiked. What were they saying? They were just spamming stuff. And I don't know if that stuff gets you banned or if they I don't know what it does. But that was interesting. Let's pull this back up. See what happens. Right? They may be trying to get my stream pulled for bots. They're trying to crash the server. That was some timing. I'm sure it's a coincidence. Does anyone happen to remember the timestamp where Baron was at? About where in the episode Baron was at when it cut out on him, when they put it down? No one in here remembers the time code that Baron was at, do you? It was at the beginning? He was at like 8 minutes? So he hadn't even really gotten into it yet? Okay, we'll just skip ahead a
Far
little
better
bit.
than anything I've ever done, and I just lets me travel. He's just gather lives saying things about Epstein being a Mossad agent, and next thing he starts to realize. I don't know if any of you were aware of Student Action Summit.
So he's about to get to the stuff about.
It was a firestorm. It was interesting because I'd just gotten back from Israel, and there I am, and Tucker was one of the speakers. Tucker has a.
He's talking about the Florida Summit where Dave Smith won the debate against Josh Hammer, and where Tucker Carlson spoke on stage. Yeah, what do you think it gets pulled off of Apple Podcasts right now?
Huge following, and he came up and he started to allude that Jeffrey Epstein, he's asking the question, but he always asks the question.
Someone in chat that has an Apple Podcast account, go download this right now.
In such a manner where he's alluding to that it has to be fact, but he said that Epstein was an agent of Mossad, and as you go back, you can see that.
I mean, it's on stream.
Giselle Maxwell, her father was a Mossad agent, and so all of a sudden that means that Epstein is, and Epstein's Jewish, so he has to be because Epstein's a Jewish name, and then asking about
Rob McCoy again, not knowing what he's talking about, straw manning the arguments like a fucking retard. Maybe Rob should tune into my show and watch last night's stream if he wants to know how we know that Epstein was Mossad.
at Ackerman and a bunch of other things, and you saw this room of 7,000 conservative youth, and as a lot of you know, Charlie, internal polling at TikTok, is the #1 influencer for 18 to 30-year-olds worldwide.
Remember, this is a church pastor.
Here he is. He's gathered together, and
not political.
Key battleground states, Michigan, Arizona, we're all one.
What episode is it?
No
It's has God cast away his people? Romans 11:1-36. Pastor Rob McCoy. Godspeak Calvary Chapel, July 27th. I found it by just searching, has God cast away his people, Pastor Rob McCoy.
Have considered that. It was a 60-point shift from Obama to where we are today, that these 18 to 30-year-olds voted conservative. Now, they're not traditional conservatives. They're just so disillusioned with endless wars. They're disillusioned with government that's promised them everything and they've gotten nothing. And so these folks that have a voice in their lives, Charlie assembles them. Well, Tucker was one of them. And Tucker has been a voice, but he's becoming, I wouldn't call him anti-Semitic. He's not real favorable to Israel. Candace Owens, on the other hand, I'm not sure where she's gone.
So I just want to point out that everyone in the chat saying that it's a Kai Cenat thing, my view count has not gone up. We have the exact same number of viewers unless there's like some glitch. I've refreshed it. It's still 580 or so, 570. I'm going to hard reload. Yeah, it's still 579.
My daughter said my house started.
I kind of doubt that Kai Cenat rated our stream. Kai Cenat has like millions and millions of people. So, is it possible to be just in the chat and not in the stream? And also, I have questions about who runs Kai Cenat, honestly. Right?
But we're watching
Kai
as
is
the
in the
church
club.
in America is divided. And 7,000 conservative youth who all voted in the last election were cheering when Tucker was saying things about Epstein being a Mossad agent and how their disdain for Israel. And you're watching a divide in the country. Boomers are traditionally, we believe that Jews are God's chosen people. We believe that Israel has an ancestral right to the land according to Genesis 12. We go through all of these things. Well, that's not the church today with 18 to 30-year-olds. What they call replacement theology has taken hold and captivated the minds of these young people. And it's similar to me, I would say, of America in 1857 when Jeremiah Lanphier started a prayer service on the second floor of the Dutch.
Yeah, so to confirm, Kai Cenat hasn't streamed in a long time. Kai was not streaming. That was not an organic Kai thing. That was clearly something is still going on in the chat right now, live on the stream. all from this as he starts talking about Epstein and replacement theory.
Reformed church in New York City that ended up becoming one of the largest revivals in America. Over 1 million new converts in a nation of 33 million. That would equate today at the same percentage. You would have every church in America full, standing room only, 3 services, and there'd still be 7 million Americans looking for a place to fellowship. It was a massive revival, and it ushered in to the Civil War. The enemy divides and conquers. That's the way they operate. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And how does he deal with the soul of America to divide the nation so that they can ensure 650,000 soldiers die in a field of battle, and a segment of America based on their melanin content would be enslaved as subhuman?
So I just turned on subscribers only chat. So now it's only subscribers that can chat.
Well, they took the scriptures out of context. They said anyone with dark melanin from the African continent was considered to have the mark of Cain, or they had the curse of Ham. And they justified enslaving an entire race of people, condemning them by using the scriptures themselves.
Yeah, they're trying to get me banned for botting.
And what resulted is, as Lincoln said in his second inaugural address, they both sides pray to the same God, expecting different results. And he took on slavery. When he did the amendment to abolish slavery in the United States, it infuriated the Northern supporters. The death toll in the United States was overwhelming. They all wanted to say it was about states' rights or preserving the Union, but in every secession document of the Southern states, slavery was listed. So for those of you who are revisionists,
not really sure why he's rambling on about slavery right now or what this has. So, yeah, clip that, by the way. But Barron's smarter than me, and so maybe I'm going to miss what Barron is talking about here. If Barron explained it on his stream, walk me through it in the chat while we're going through this so we don't miss it. But at least it'll be recorded on this stream, and we can rewatch it and figure out what's going on here. Yeah, you saved it in Apple Podcasts. You want to download it to your hard drive, though, not just save it in Apple Podcasts, because if they take it down, I don't think saving an Apple Podcast will do it.
Historians and say it wasn't about slavery. You're wholly wrong. Just do your homework instead.
Yeah, by the way, bots, you're welcome to subscribe if you want. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, bots. Thank you very much.
Of your bias, adjusting yourself to what makes you feel comfortable. History is history. And so with that being said, America was thrust into a civil war. And slavery was lifted from the warp and the woof of the fabric of our country.
I see where he's
going.
But
not until a great cost. Had we followed the line of England, Great Britain, with William Wilberforce, who legislated it and pushed as an evangelical Christian, he was able to remove slavery from the British Empire almost 30 years before America did without anyone dying. And so here we are today. The church is divided. There's a huge awakening in 18 to 30-year-olds, a massive return to church. Most of them are going to Catholic churches because the Protestant church is all about pathos and ethos and not about logos. They appeal to the emotion.
Thanks, Silverback, for the gifted subs.
And with this, they take out natural light and put in fake light and smoke and mirrors, and they captivate with things other than teachings from the scriptures themselves in context. And so you have a lot of immature Christians who are being drawn to Catholicism because there's structure there.
You see where he's going with this? The Civil War narrative, the anti-Catholicism narrative.
And in so doing, they're also tuning into some of these folks online who are replacement theologians whose churches are small, were silent during COVID, didn't contend with the tyranny.
And then he tries to bring up his own credentialism as I stood up against COVID. I'm the real one.
They have an online presence where they can take these disillusioned and dissatisfied, especially white males, 18 to 30, which is reminiscent of Nazi Germany, 1936.
Okay, Nazis, let's go.
That have been on the low end of the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, critical race theory totem pole. They have been faced with toxic femininity, where they are forced to use pronouns, embrace the idea that somebody can become the opposite sex, and they've been lied to, and it's been forced down their throats. They've been told that they're toxic men, they need to be nice, and they're upset.
Remember, this is a church sermon, not a political rally.
And so they're gone. They have two choices. They can embrace Christ and his teachings, or they can embrace hatred and find a group of people beneath them on that totem pole. Well, what better victim to, or I should say target, than to get 18 million Jews. Yes, that's all there are, 18 million Jews. A third of them are in Israel, a third of them in the United States, and a third are scattered throughout the world. 18 million in a world of what, 7.8 billion people? There's 18 million Jews. There's one Jewish state. There's 57 Muslim states. In the 1040 window, longitude and latitude, where 90% of the Muslim world exists, there's one.
Remember, it's a Christian sermon, by the way.
One democracy, and that is Israel. And they're the target of disdain and hatred. And everything they do is scrutinized.
And remember, this is all in response and retaliation to the Florida TPUSA event and to Tucker Carlson talking about Jeffrey Epstein being Mossad. That's what got him onto this tangent, right?
And everywhere you look, there's a Jew responsible for the atrocities of the world. And it's boiling and brewing, and it's problematic.
If you're taking vitamin D3 or D3K2 right,
Charlie is in alignment with my beliefs that Israel has an ancestral right to the land, that Israelites are God's chosen people. And for that, he's considered a Zionist. But what's interesting is when he brings Tucker on the Student Action Summit to speak, in a constitutional republic where you debate ideas, because when you use words and you're able to debate these things, it doesn't rise to the level of violence. And so the world that is Zionist calls him an anti-Semite. He's beat up on both sides. Fascinating. President Trump is in office because
This was like 8 or 9 days before the Hamptons meeting. This is the timeline. Hamptons meeting was on August 4th. This sermon took place on July 27th, right around here, while all the Israel searches were going on. July 13th and 14th was the TPUSA Florida event.
when he was elected, many called him Zion Don because he supports Israel. They were upset that he afforded B-2 bombers.
That timeline is
bombing
my
Fordham
personal creation.
in Iran. Now, let's remember, before we get into the text,
I will
that
upload it, yeah.
there are two Israels in accordance with Ezekiel 37.
Remember, Christian
This
pastor.
isn't my exegetical insight. This is for my Reformed brothers and sisters who tend to be, in many cases,
Dude, the bots went max. You think we're going max? The bots went max. That was wild. Yeah, the question is, Lady Mix, who sent the bots? Remember, Rob McCoy was in the group text with Charlie and the donors.
the person who wrote it, when I was in Israel, I had a 2-hour meeting with them. Orthodox rabbi, good guy. Struggled over Charlie's position of allowing Tucker Carlson to come and speak and not disavowing Candace Owen as his friend. I've never heard Charlie speak poorly of anyone publicly. He talks to them privately.
Oh, let's go, Rob. Let's go.
Interesting
Bring
to
it.
me that they look at Charlie as an anti-Semitic because of that. And this man that wrote this article is one who was moved. It took time. We were in a text stream with a number of Orthodox Israelis going back and forth and contending why this is so necessary in a constitutional republic. So moved to them privately.
I skip back because I want to hear that
Interesting
again.
to me that they look at Charlie as an anti-Semitic because of that. And this man that wrote this article is one who was moved. It took time. We were in a text stream with a number of Orthodox Israelis.
We were in a text stream with a number of Orthodox Israelis, Rob?
Going back and forth and contending why this is so necessary in a constitutional republic. So moved was Pesach Walecki that he wrote this article, made it to the front
page. It gets better, huh?
I'll read another op-ed in Time that was written by our friend David Nekrutman, another Orthodox Israeli, where you said they had the mark of Cain and the curse of Ham. We've done that with Jews. We take Revelation 2 and Revelation 3 and we say it's a synagogue of Satan. Those who say they're Jews but are not. And what they define as a Jew is anyone who's embraced Christ.
Those they define as a Jew is anyone who's embraced Christ?
The rest are an anathema, cursed. Where would that come from?
From Jesus?
Everyone ever heard of a fellow by the name of Constantine? Constantinople? He's the one who brought all the bishops together.
Rob's about to tell you how he knows more about the origin of biblical text than every other Christian that's ever lived that helped contribute to making the King James Version reality, I think is what's going on here, right? That passage was added by Constantine, is I think what we're about to be told. That is propaganda from the Romans. That's anti-Jewish. It's anti-Semitism. It's the Romans were Nazis, I think is what we're about to get, right?
Unify the church. Some of the canons.
The Dead Sea Scrolls were also Nazi propaganda, if you're not aware, bro. FYI, Hitler did have a time machine, you know? He went back, and he got busy back then.
In the Nicene Creed, and I've been going through, and it's insane what was written in some of these canons. What is said about Jews? It's vile. This isn't new.
These are the words of Jesus Christ that he's referring to here. This wasn't like the words of John or the words of Luke. This is red letter.
My husband used to.
And I am not an educated Christian, and I know that. This is red letter.
It cycles.
Right? Am I wrong?
And if it isn't addressed and if it isn't talked about, there's going to be another
Am I wrong
Holocaust.
on that? There's going to be another Holocaust if you listen to the words of Christ.
And that's why we're here today. Some of you are hoping, I really want some sunshine blown my way. Micah will be back. No, I'm kidding.
I understand why they might have taken this video down once Barron had noticed it. Skadoosh, great name. Thanks for the gifted subs. Hopefully we got some bots in here now.
I was burdened to share this with you.
Oh.
I think it's telling.
Who
the state
burdened
of
you
our
with
nation,
that, Rob?
And it's wise that all of us are educated to be able to give a ready answer. Listen, you may even disagree with me. That's fine. But give me your reasons when I give you mine. And I don't want an emotive. It needs to be original sources. I have those. So with that being said, if you have a Bible, open up to Romans chapter 11. If you don't, the folks walking down the aisle will give you one. Just raise your hand. Welcome to our Godspeak family.
Okay, Rob. Challenge accepted. I guess we're having a religious show today. What are we opening up to?